The question is this: what do women need to do or do more of to help move the needle faster? That is, for us to experience more success. And what do men need to do and do more of to help move the needle for women and women?
So I think what women need to do more of to move that needle forward is, I think we need to embrace the new realities that we face in the workplace. And I just think things are changing, and sometimes we get stuck. And we get stuck in a previous work environment, relationship with our boss. We get stuck in, this is the educational level that I needed at that time. And I think we've just got to embrace new normals. And we can move really fast, because I do think there's tremendous opportunity. So I think we have to have a defining moment. I always recast once a year what is necessary to be successful now, and get unstuck. And we have to unstick ourselves. I believe what men can do more of to help us is to interview us, hire us, pay us, value us, promote us, develop us. It's really that simple, because we need less roundtables, we need less training sessions, and we just need to be interviewed and hired. And I think it would be really very helpful, because when you take a chance, I think people will see that we will rise to the occasion. And I know a lot of people are still writing me, if I go to one training class on diversity, right? But I can't get promoted. I'm not getting interviewed. And I think we have to make it very simple. Got to interview somebody to hire them. If your slate's not diverse, you're not going to put anybody on the team. And just start with those very basic fundamentals. And those of us who are in positions to interview, I just got to the United Way and I said, one of the things that must happen, all interview slates must be diverse. Very simple statement. They have to be diverse. Period. You cannot close the slate unless it's diverse. Here in Greensboro, I said that to a group of people when I was running American Express, and said, the slate must be diverse. Period. And I kept slates open. They're like, I'm ready to, oh, no, you're not. You're not hiring anybody until you find a diverse slate. And I'm not saying unqualified people. A diverse, qualified slate is one of the things that I think a lot of us in this room can ensure happens and help ourselves.
Thank you.
I think in higher education, and I think I would expect the same from men and women in this regard. One of the biggest challenges that we are facing now is succession planning. The American Council on Education calls it the grain presidency. In the last year, 104 presidents or chancellors of universities around the country decided to retire. The year before, only 40 decided to retire. And so I think for those of us in higher education, and I get calls from search firms all the time, to try to identify individuals who are willing to move up to a presidency. And the jobs are extremely challenging. And so what I think we need to do more of is, number one, succession planning. And for me, given the economic challenges and the mobility challenges that people face, we've got to focus more on growing our own. And that's not simply supporting those of us who are employed by the institution to do professional development programs. It really means seriously considering internal candidates for higher level positions in the organization. And I don't think in higher ed we do enough of that. There's always a sense that if you bring in a president or a chancellor from another institution, that person will save the institution. That's crazy. The people who know the institution best and what the challenges are the people who are already here. So I think at least in higher education, we're facing a huge wave of retirements in leadership, and we really need to focus on how we are going to support that next generation.
Well, I would say I ditto everything that Michelle said about what men need to do. But I do want to say that I think one thing that women could really do for themselves and do for other women is to actually ask for what you have earned. And I don't think women do that enough. I think we're so grateful for anything we're given, and we kind of just take it and go away with it. And I can tell you most men do not do that. You know, they'll step back and say, well, let me think about that, or I don't think that's quite enough, let's talk about this. And you need to know that you've earned it, first of all, and then you need to ask for whatever that is, because you have earned it. And then we, as women managers, need to make sure that we're advocating for our staff to receive what they have earned. Today, women actually do serve in a lot of leadership roles, but we're still making 79% of what men make in those same roles. And part of that is because men are making the decisions. But I do think a big part of that is that we do not request what we have earned, and we do not demand what we have earned. And we need to have the strength of character to be able to do that.
Let me just add related to what you're saying as well, Don. Actually, when you first started talking, I thought you were talking about women being less modest, but I think the same language applies. So frequently it seems, and I see this in our work group, in our organization, women who are very talented, that they know what they're doing, they're passionate about their work, they don't always step forward. They don't come forward to own what they know and to bring that to the table. And I don't know if it's a part of our being nurturing and wanting to care about those and making sure everybody else is okay. And those things are certainly good attributes. But when it comes down to the end of the day as to who's going to get the job or who's going to get the next opportunity, if you're not standing in line and advocating for yourself or making your case, then you won't get there. And so frequently I watch that happen, and I'm sort of pushing people behind the scenes to say, you know, you can do that, you've thought about that, but and I've even had to push myself in that regard, you know, to remind myself of what I know and what I'm capable of. But if I could add anything to this, I would say that in terms of moving the needle, having women present and competing in certain circumstances, and part of what is needed is for us to overcome our personal honesty.
Right.